today's walk is in response to a comment from, I can't pronounce your name, sorry, it's J and then some numbers, but it's Clive's son. Clive, the Leyton Orient fan. Leyton Orient badge there, Clive. And Clive's son recommended this walk, and about a month ago I've been meaning to get out here. Today's the day, because I've only got about 2 hours of light. We're in Buckhurst Hill. We're going to go and have a look for Linder's Field. Linder as in Linder. It's a little nature reserve now, but there was once, it's a surviving remnant of an ancient woodland. And I'm in the middle here of this really beautiful open space. This is a park by the Rver Roding, which runs along the bottom there. I've walked through here a few times, I think mostly in the summer. It's a really lovely little open space. Look at this lone eucalyptus tree here in the Roding Valley, a very long way from Australia. Although I've only come about 4 stops on the tube from Leytonstone, we're now technically out of London. Buckhurst Hill is Buckhurst Hill, Essex. So this is real D.W Gillingham country, unto the fields. Indeed, I think actually the book does start at the far end of this open space here. The first description of the first walk. Chapter 1. Unto the fields. The sudden emergence from the new housing estate into the broad meadows along the Roding rarely failed to exalt me as one coming to the sea. What a carnival of life, what a coming and going and drift of wings. And actually I just realised it was when I came for a walk down here in the midst of the heat wave. I came down here one afternoon and I exited on the far side there up towards Loughton Station, and that was when I saw the blue plaque for D.W Gillingham and the mention of his book. And I stood outside the house where he used to live, looked up the book on my phone and bought a copy from Abe Books, stood there in front of his house in Loughton. It was a wonderful discovery. In Village London by Edward Walford, published in 1883, it says that the name Buckhurst Hill probably comes from the Anglo-Saxon Buckhurst, meaning a beech forest. Thorne, it says, in his Environs of London, says that perhaps the name may be derived from Book Forest, a portion of the forest set apart or severed by a royal charter from the neighbouring open forest. The other reason I wanted to start the walk down here is I wanted to follow this little brook here, which I believe is another one of the kind of tributaries of the Rver Roding that comes out of Epping Forest. And I think it runs through Linder's Field. I'd looked at it before, but not really made that connection. So let's see how far I can follow this little stream. I just find there's a certain optimism about having the sight screens out during winter. It reminds you that summer exists as a concept and that people will be playing cricket there at some point. Tin cricket pavilion. Last time I played cricket in a match was in 1997. It could have been the end of 96 actually, 96, 97. I was playing for the Sydney Opera House against the Museum of Contemporary Art in Sydney. And we won. Sydney Opera House won, of course. We took quite a few wickets, as I seem to remember. We won the match, the proper match, and then we lost the beer match quite badly, as I'm sure you can imagine. We had crates of beer all around the boundary, and frankly we were lucky to finish the match standing up, let alone playing cricket. So here the little stream enters its culvert, and I think the next time we'll see it will be up in Linder's Field. Classic little bit of green space running up through a housing estate. I love little patches of ground like this. Memories of when it was all fields. Wow. That's a mighty oak tree. Seen the world changing around it. Carry on regardless, and we'll carry on beyond. The Essex coat of arms there, the 3 scimitars. So this is actually part of the London Loop. This must be the branch between Enfield Lock and Chigwell, I guess. This is a walk I probably wouldn't have done if it weren't for that suggestion by Clive's son to go to Linder's Field. I've walked up through these streets in different directions, but never along this little path here. So somehow I've got to get across the tube tracks. Linder's Field is on the other side. So if you're doing the London Loop, the footpath across the tracks is just in the corner of this sort of cul-de-sac here. Saw the train going past. This is where you'll find the London Loop running through this quiet little housing estate here. Makes sense. I've often seen this field from the tube when I've been going out to Loughton. In fact, I pointed it out to my wife last week when we went for a walk in the forest, and I was trying to find it on the OS map, but it isn't very well marked on the Ordnance Survey map actually. It doesn't show any footpaths. One absolute gem of a find. Thank you so much for suggesting this, because I've looked at it from the tube a number of times but never managed to get here. You can see the high wooded ground in Epping Forest over there. So yeah, here's the cattle trough, so clearly there are livestock in these fields here. Sometimes spaces like this are best experienced in the winter months. The shape of the land and the shape of the trees reveals itself to you. So apparently, according to Wikipedia, this was called Pluckett's Wood originally, and then it became farmland. I guess it was Linder's farm. Linder is the name of the farmer who then gave it to Chigwell Council. So here we go. Linder's Field. It's a fantastic view back across the Roding Valley. Isn't it great? There is something really magical about the Roding Valley. The various views you get. The view from the Eastern Avenue at Wanstead across the Roding Valley is quite spectacular, particularly at sunset. So it's actually a lot bigger than I thought. It has its own distinctive feel, which is quite different to Epping Forest. Look at that kind of bank of pines at the end here, and these wide grassy areas. Of course, Epping Forest is just over the way there. So here we go on this bench here. Charles Linder, 1867 to 1957. Wow, that's a good old stint, isn't it? Who generously gave Linder's Field to the people of Buckhurst Hill, February 1952. And Gillingham's Unto the Fields was published in 1953. So in Village London by Edward Wolford, the vulgar name of the place is, or was, formerly Buckhurst Hill. Hence John Clare, in one of his sonnets on Epping Forest, writes, There's Buckhurst Hill, a place of firs and clouds, which evening in a forest blaze enshrouds. Last Sunday, a really delightful walk through the forest with my wife and my youngest son, and we ended up on Pump Hill, Loughton, which I think is one of the best views of London. That's great. You come over this little hill here and you're just faced with a bronzed autumnal tree canopy ahead. Isn't that amazing? This is looking back over Linder's field with the high ground of the Roding Valley behind. Sometimes these short walks, these micro adventures, can be every bit as rewarding, if not more rewarding, than the great big long epic schleps in the summertime where you walk for 12 hours, 20 miles, traverse a large area. Sometimes just staying tightly within one little area can yield just as much, if not more. It's been such a really magical experience coming here today. I thought the little stream we saw earlier on was running through that hedge line, but it wasn't. But look what I found here, this luminous patch of crab apples. I remember eating too many of those once when I was a kid, and it gave me the worst stomach ache I've ever had. This is the way you want to finish a walk on a Sunday afternoon, along a leaf-strewn path beneath the boughs of autumnal trees. I had actually put the camera away because I was just walking along the road back through Buckhurst Hill, and then I just spotted this church, St John's C of E, Buckhurst Hill, and it's really quite spectacular with the churchyard here. Really beautiful headstone, isn't it? Carved tree trunk with an anchor and shield, with chains around it. It says Commander Norman, Royal Navy, beloved eldest son of the above, torpedoed in the Irish Sea, 18th of October 1918, 100 years ago. There are these quite majestic pine trees throughout the churchyard as well. Just goes to show there's hidden treasures everywhere, all around you, even when you think the walk is over.